back, everyone, to Jeff Lewis Obsessed, where we recap Jeff Lewis Live every night at 6 o'clock California time. I'm Sarah in Texas. I like
and I'm
it.
Kelly in California.
You look blushy. You've got pink lipstick on.
I was a little sweaty. I'm taking down the Halloween decorations and putting up the Thanksgiving decorations. Thank you so much. So I was running around
How
a little
much
bit.
Thanksgiving do you do? I have a lot of generic pumpkin-y stuff. I did take down my witch, but I do that I have a scary witch on the front porch. I take that down after Halloween.
Yeah, I saw that.
And then I have a few little trinkets that are Thanksgiving-y, like Native Americans. I don't know, little statues, whatever they are.
I go all out. So we start in September. September starts fall. We have lots of leaves and apples, and then it transitions to pumpkins and squashes and things like that. And then once Halloween's over, then I put out like the more Thanksgiving
in your house or school
and bows. Yep.
Wow.
And in my house. It's all for me. There's lights involved.
Donated. I called my friend Julie, I don't even know how long ago, 9 or 10 years ago. I said, come over and let me know, take everything you want. Like, I was just so done storing all of my Halloween stuff. And then I started teaching, and I'm like, oh my God, all of that I had so much holiday stuff just every season. And I'm like, oh, I could have had all this stuff for the house. And then what I didn't want, I could have actually brought to my school and used. But oh well. I told you, I'm a massive donator. Yes. And I always do that right before I need something again. I just end up rebuying it.
I wish we lived closer, because I love free stuff. So anything that anybody gives away, I love it. I would love to take pictures of my decor. I just don't feel it's appropriate on my Chump account.
I mean, I put up my witch, but that's because I figured Jeff would think it was like scary. My scary witch.
Maybe I'll do it. We'll see how I feel.
I just thought of something. I don't know what I was gonna say. Real quick before we get started, don't forget tomorrow is Cook and Kibitz, also known as Kibbles and Bits. I almost can't unhear it. I literally had to look up the old commercial today and put a story up about it, like since Kelly Dodd said it.
I saw, and Stu said it too on I taped it, and he said Kibitz and Bits. So
I know.
Apparently it's a thing now.
But
I think
tomorrow night. So tomorrow night, 5 o'clock California time Pacific, on Doug Budin's Instagram Live. If you don't already watch it, I think almost all of us already watch it, but he and Chef Stu will be on together making a dressing for Thanksgiving. Apparently dressing is a fancier word for stuffing.
Yes, I'm sure it is. But you know what? I wanted to say to Stu, I think it's really kind of strange that you called it rustic sausage stuffing, because when you say sausage stuffing, that implies the image of somebody stuffing sausages in their ear hole, their nose hole, their mouth hole, their butt hole, their vagina hole. So you call it stuffing with sausage. You don't call it
He's
sausage
calling
stuffing.
it sausage dressing.
Well, no. Before earlier, he said it was rustic sausage stuffing. And I was like, that sounds like a bunch of people out in like a farm sticking sausages up their butts. You need to call it dressing with sausage.
That's new. That's going into the body orifices of stuffing sausages. Nobody else thought that. Everyone else thought it was a nice meal to put on our Thanksgiving table. No, Kelly thinks it's shit going up our anus and our vagina and our ears and our nose. What the hell, Kelly? You need some dick. You need some dick, Kelly.
You don't call it. It's not sausage stuffing. It's dressing with sausage. I'm sorry. English is a second language.
Anyways, tomorrow night, tune in. I don't think it's going to be on Stu's Instagram, so make sure you go to Doug Budin's Instagram.
No.
What kind of farms are you hanging out at?
Absolutely. Hey, I don't want to tell you, but I've seen some stuff.
You know what I wish I was when I grow up? I'm 49. You think I could get a new career? An ER doctor. Can you imagine? I want to be the one that gets all that shit stuck up people's butts and vaginas. Andy Cohen and John Hill today were talking about a friend of theirs who had a tampon stuck up her for 2 months. And she was thinking that a guy smelled.
I heard that, and she was like,
that smelled. Oh my God. Can you imagine?
If I ever never have to be a teacher again, I will tell you a story about a stuck-in tampon and how horrible it was.
No,
It
I actually have
happens.
heard of that.
If you're sleepy
And
and
it
you
causes
don't
that
realize,
toxicity thing.
yes,
Doesn't it?
but 3 months.
I love that she's calling
3 months.
him saying,
I mean,
God, this guy like stinks. And they're like, I don't know. Men don't really stink. I mean, like, you know, girls get juices and
it was
you know,
her.
but guys don't really smell. And she's like, no, this guy smells. It was her own self. Ugh.
Can you imagine? She must have smelled so bad. If she could smell it, that's the thing. I'm saying that when I've done that before.
Can you imagine the guy going, this lady is disgusting. Gross. And she had to dig all around to find it. Oh yes, Andy had a date, and it sounded, hello Chris, and it sounded like there's going to be a second date. He's already confirmed it. So if anyone wants to listen to Andy.
Yes.
And also Matthew Perry's interview with him is actually really good. I love autobiography, so I might actually read it.
I tuned out. I listened when he was talking to Cameron Crowe and when him and John were going back and forth. But Andy sounded really excited about the date. He sounded hopeful and like there was going to be and they were making out. He said, "Pervy Jose, the making out part."
Andy
doorman.
Andy Cohen.
They were making. Yes.
He gave him a kiss
making out
as
with
he
the
walked
dude
him
in
home.
front of the building. No, there was more than that. Okay. I think he was making out with them.
Huh?
Because he was embarrassed. He was embarrassed that the doorman, Pervy Jose, had saw him smacking it up.
I loved it. He also said, oh shit, I forgot what I was gonna say. Oh, they did talk about that in the Howard interview. I didn't listen to that, but probably should have. They were talking about how young Bruce Springsteen looked and all the work he's probably had done. Anyways, it was a wet Wednesday. Let's chat about Julie and Brandy. They are definitely some fan favorites. I thought the show went by really fast. It was one of those days where I was just like, oh my God, it's over.
It did. See, that's why I wanted to be 2 hours. But yes, it went by really quick. It was fun. I think we'd been missing them. They hadn't been on for a couple of weeks, so it's always nice when they come back.
But you're right. I don't think it was last week that they were on.
I think they're every 2 weeks, but yeah, it was. They're
and it sounded like Jeff was laughing so hard whenever they all got wet on that ride. That sounded so funny.
Yes.
And I love that they were like really happy that they made him laugh so hard. They were like, we had the best time. And man, Julie is all in. They even watched Barbarian yesterday during the day. I told you I've committed to watching it tomorrow.
I wish we could watch.
I could FaceTime you. How do you watch something together? I've seen that something on Facebook. You can watch stuff together.
I don't know. But you know what I did hear from Julie and Brandy's
Dumb Gay Politics or the Patreon? Did you spend $1? Because you know they're poor.
No, I have to update my credit card. But no, they called it Haunted and Wet or whatever. What I heard is that they dropped mushrooms and they were high on mushrooms. They didn't say that today, so I wasn't going to put it out there, but they did say it on their podcast. Why anybody would want to go to something terrifying and crazy and then drop a hallucinogenic? I hope they were kidding. I just can't imagine that.
Well, is that called microdosing? Is that what everybody's the rage nowadays is microdosing?
No. Yeah. Brandy's not microdosing anything. They're doing it all. So no, I think that they were high on.
Okay, that makes me even a little more concerned because they separated from the group at the very end of the night, and Jeff's like, "Oh no, Peter, the RIP tour guide, personally walked us to our car," and they're like all roaming around.
Yes.
You know, when you're lost. Okay, we've been lost somewhere. Remember when we were lost in the Beverly Center parking garage and we were dying?
That fucking parking lot.
It was hot.
Yes.
We could not find your car anywhere. Was that like 45 minutes? It was.
No, it was almost an hour. And also with Julie and Brandy, like they said, when you're with a big group of people, things aren't as scary. But when it's just yourself and a couple other and you're having to walk through everything and there's people jumping out and scaring you, I was like, I would love to go to something like that. I don't know if I had the wherewithal to not like hit people.
Who was it? Julie said she was at the doctor one time and he put something, a shot in her knee or did something and she accidentally kicked him.
Oh yeah.
That sounds legit though. I mean, I don't think that was her fault. I mean, your knee is a reaction thing, right?
Anytime I've ever gotten a pedicure, I always end up kicking people because I cannot. I'm so sensitive. My feet are so
I don't kick them, but
yes,
I'm like dying for like a solid 30 seconds to a minute whenever I get a pedicure every single time.
It's involuntary. I can't control it. It just shoots out. I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry. So I really don't like to go.
Lisa says, I need a BFF who will watch stuff with me without actually hanging out. No, I actually want to be with Kelly. I love when we're together. Yeah, we do have.
Yes, we have a lot of fun. We have a lot of fun. But I'm so excited you get to watch it.
I'm going to have my shutters up.
And I know Alyssa didn't like
tomorrow, so it's probably going to make my bedroom be a little darker, which I'm not happy about. I'd forgotten my husband took the kids and saw that movie in the theater. Yeah, they see all the scary movies in the theaters.
And if you are going into it going like, oh, this part's fake, oh, I can see this, then you're ruining the story. It's really good. It has a lot of twists and turns. The bad people that you think are going to be bad aren't the bad people. Well, they kind of ruined it. And mother Megan is actually a very lovely woman.
I just want to see the tits personally. I want to see if I think they're good or not.
I didn't think they were that bad.
Are they full on? Like we can see them?
A little low, but oh yeah, it's the actor is a man. He's a 6'5" man, and they put because they wanted somebody really tall and scary looking. So he's very thin, he's very tall, and he has a whole body. So they're not real
tits. What? Okay, no. I'm so confused. Don't ruin any more of it for me. I'm so confused. I don't even know if I'm going to watch it anymore. I thought I was going to watch tits tomorrow.
You didn't like it?
I thought I was going to see boobs. Never mind.
You'll see boobs. They're just prosthetic boobs. It's still good. Tits. Watch it. I mean, touch your own bitch.
Anyways, I did love whenever Jeff talks about food. And he got a foot-long hot dog and some Doritos at Universal. He just eats some shit.
Okay, so then I was trying to figure it out. So Friday night, they had foot-long hot dogs and Doritos. Saturday, they overdid it on pizza. And then, what was it, Thursday? He got a smoothie and Fritos. Who eats Fritos who eats Fritos anyway?
Fritos are delicious. Those chili cheese ones dipped in that bean dip. Oh my, bean dip
those are fine.
So good. That little Fritos bean dip. Oh my God.
Yes, that one's fine. But a Frito, it reminds me of a dog's paw. So the fact that you would eat like you're about to faint because you gave so many vials of blood, and then you got a smoothie and you picked Fritos? It was Glenn
Pickens. He had to go to the store next door. He loves a Chevron. He loves a little gas station action. He likes all that junk food stuff. Remember in Flipping Out? Mm-hmm. And even Hollywood Housewives, they would go and get like a bag of chips and what would he usually get? The
dip is in the chip. The dip is in the chip. And he also likes the meat stick.
I bet he does. Oh.
What's it called?
Oh, what's that called? Slim Jim. We had those little ones, and my daughter, it was left over from her lunch yesterday. She threw it on the table. I totally ate it today.
You know what I made today? And I don't eat cows, but today I did eat a cow. I made pigs in a blanket with the little beaners, the beef ones.
Yeah.
So you can get beef or pork, and pigs are pets, and so are cows.
Oh yeah. I mean, the fact that somebody's saying Saturday they went to Craig's. I mean, literally, when he said he answered that local phone call because he thought it was a reservation, he wasn't going to miss his reservations. He must spend. How much do you think? We need to do the math on what he spends in a year.
I just want to do a week because he eats out for lunch, and the only meal he has at home is really breakfast. So I'm going to say during the week, because he not only is eating for himself, he takes a lot of people out to dinner. He said he was going out tonight, Thursday, and another night. So I think he's probably spending like $2,000 a week on takeout in restaurants. It's so expensive, and you're drinking and you're leaving tips and you're giving people tips so that you get a
handing
table and you get
everybody
the
a
valet.
50 and
So
$100,
like,
a
I mean,
hundy, a hundo.
a hundo. And I think also that, yeah, I think he spends probably about $2,000
He
a
is
week on
rich.
food. But you know what? He said it's a tax write-off, and I don't know completely how that works because I'm poor, so I don't know that tax bracket. But I'm like, I know he writes a lot of stuff off, so he doesn't mind. But he spends a lot of money entertaining
But I think
others.
Jeff is
He
like
does.
me. I think he's very by the book. Like I let our accountant lady do all of our stuff, and she always gets us more money back than I would ever do because I would be so by the book. So I just figure, you know what? I'm paying you a little bit of money to get us the most money back. And I feel like she knows. But if I were doing my taxes, which I've never in my life done my own taxes, I would be so conservative that I would probably end up owing money back to them. I don't even know. So I think Jeff is like me, very by the book. And he's just like, if Travis says I can write all this off, then I'm going to, because he knows all the laws. But if not, I don't feel like he would, right?
Right. Somebody asked how much, Shotzi asked how much he earns at Sirius. I probably think that his contract 5 days a week was something like $1 million. I don't know if that's true or not, or if that's shooting too high, but I think it's definitely a lot more. I don't think the most of his income comes from Sirius. I think it's from property and real estate, to be honest.
I have no idea how much he would make. If I were to guess, I would say 1.5 to 2 million a year.
Do you think that's
the
now
new contract?
With his,
I don't know
with the new contract, or
yeah? But he's not Paul.
I think I'd say with the new contract, I'd say 3 to 4 million. I really do. I think he's a very, I think he's a very hot.
And you know what? I don't know if
Sirius.
This makes a difference, but California, you have to be paid a lot more, don't y'all? Everything costs more, but don't y'all paid more? So I'm not I'm thinking of Texas money versus California money. Money goes a lot farther in Texas here.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. So I make a lot of money,
Somebody
but I don't have a lot of
$5 million. I think
$5
million. As much as he goes to what's the hill, Pelican Hill? Good Lord. The VIP, the RIP. Oh my God. I mean, literally his credit card bill, my credit card bill shocks me every month. I'm like, God damn, how did I spend that much money? Then I got to go to the bank thing and pay it all and whatever but I'm like, can you imagine his credit card bill every month? And he spends a lot of cash. He freaking goes to Wells Fargo all the dang time.
I know. He needs his own ATM machine.
Literally. Oh my goodness. I love whenever they said they line people up according to their income, and he was in the back, and they were like, even Monroe's at the front of us, Shane's in front of us, Kean's in front of us.
And even Carver and Patrick, the kiddies. I'd be back there with them.
I feel like, I mean,
I think
do they really go on tour? I mean, I feel like, why don't they go on tour and make some money? You know? Yeah, they did. They just did a show in Las Vegas with Heather McDonald, but wouldn't you think they'd make money on a tour? Do they not want a tour maybe?
Yeah, I think they would, but I think it takes a lot of work. I think they have a lot of stuff that they're planning and they're writing for, other than just the podcast. So I think that when you go on tour, like Heather and Fortune and all those, you have to write new material and have a whole new shebang. I would love to go and watch just a live podcast of theirs, but I don't know how many.
I've done that before. I think it's super. I mean, I guess Heather McDonald's. I did it with the guys. Watch What Crappens Live, because a friend of mine told me about that. I thought it was so lame to just sit there and watch them speak into the microphone about the podcast. I was like, oh my God. Anyways, it's not my thing. But when Heather McDonald, when I saw her in New York City, it wasn't really like that. It wasn't really a comedy show, but it was more her talking about stuff. Maybe she did put it out as a podcast. I didn't listen, but it was way more interactive, and she had guests and stuff. I thought it was really good.
And, I think also that Jeff would really make a lot of money, I think, if he did live shows on the road, because his show isn't just a podcast. He has lots of guests, and I know he can't because it's a live, maybe it's a live radio show. But I think if he sold tickets to that would be awesome. People would go to money,
so he must know what makes money and what doesn't. I don't think the traveling outweighs, because I think he likes very small venues, and I think he's well aware what he can sell out. I mean, he's not a stadium kind of guy. Give me a break.
Right.
You know what I mean? He has very loyal
Yeah.
listeners, fans, followers, community, whatever you want to call it. But they're not
right.
huge numbers. I mean, he's not Chris Rock type selling out shit. But I also think the venues lead themselves to smaller. But they're coming up on a year. His last show was the Burbank show you and I were at together, November 15th, 2021.
I know. But I also don't think he's in the best health. Somebody said something about Monroe. Also, I just don't think he has. And when you're going on tours, it's a lot.
Well,
on you.
And
It's
I think
hard
to
on your
travel
body. It's
all
not
those
easy.
people.
It's
a room, getting all the schedules.
Yes.
I think doing it in California, there's so many fans in California, but there's also fans like me that would actually fly out. And ever since I flew out by myself to meet y'all and Cheryl from Van Nuys and everyone else, so many people have reached out and said, oh my God, tell me next time you do that. I would totally do that with you. I tried to find people on the Facebook groups and just couldn't get anyone last minute to go to California with me. But anyways, but I think doing it in California is perfect. Yeah. It works for me. Just tell me when to be there, Jeff.
Exactly. People are asking about Andy. He's dating. We don't know. I think
he was a 36-year-old guy. He didn't really say anything about him, like a regular guy. I don't even. Oh, you know where I think he met him? I think he met him Halloween night.
Instagram. No, he said on Instagram.
Oh, I don't know why I thought he met him Halloween night.
He met him. He was a friend of a friend, and he pursued Andy for a long time on Instagram. And Andy was just like, "All right, let's do it."
Although,
and they had a great experience.
I still hold up hope for him and John Hill. I absolutely do. I don't know what the holdup is. I love Anderson Cooper. But is Anderson with someone?
No,
or did he just have a baby daddy? I'm so
He's really private.
He's so private with his life, understandably.
Yeah, I think Andy will forever be friends with Anderson and John. No sexual thing there anymore.
I can dream, right? I can dream.
And I don't know if Anderson's top or bottom.
He gives me bottom energy.
He gives me bottom energy. I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Jenny. Jen, we would totally take you with us to who's in a relationship? Andy? Oh, Anderson is. Chris says. Okay.
Anderson.
Well, I'm happy for him then. I love that.
He's real private.
I love when they do videos that do together, like dad stuff. Oh my God, I love them so much. Let's plug real quick. Dumb Gay Politics is the free podcast they do. It drops every Tuesday. That's at Brandy or Julie and andbrandy.com. And then on Patreon, there's $1 episode, and they do 2 a week. So that means they're doing 3 podcasts a week. That is a lot. We do 5
It is a lot. I always get confused. Exactly. And Patreon, I'm still going to say it's not user friendly. I haven't even tried. That shit out.
And I've heard Heather McDonald.
I went to go do
is excellent. Like the top notch one I heard it's excellent.
Well, and she also does a thing now where she only allows a certain number of people to be in the top tier of her Patreon. So I tried to go, you posted Julie and Brandy's link for their stuff, and I tried to go to it, and it was like, update your credit card. And I was like, oh, fuck, I'll do it later.
We're going to give some sex information again. So Stephanie is curious. Are tops and bottoms always the same? No. Sometimes they are, but there's people called a verse, which means versatile, and it means depending on who they're with or the same person, you could sometimes be a top, you could sometimes be a bottom. But I think people have their preferences, and I think you're either a top or a bottom in general, but I don't know.
Yes.
Chris, you want to let us know what you think?
Yes, like we've heard Andy and Jeff
said
are
it
tops.
pretty much.
We've heard that, yes, Doug, Jameson, Shane are bottoms, only because they've said it passively, and we just figured it out.
And Stu, we feel like is a verse. I cannot talk about the sex life, but that's all we seem to do. Like literally. We're very curious. Speaking of sex life, sort of. I don't know if we touched on this. I did an Instagram story. Zach Noe Towers got a little handsy with Jeff yesterday. We don't even see that public display between Jeff and Stu. I was a little bit like, Stu and Jeff need to give us a little kiss, a little hand holding. I want a picture of them from the bed,
right,
with their feet, just like watching TV. Is that too much to ask?
You'll never get that.
I'm literally going to request it. I'm so freaking.
But I think
their 1 year anniversary, Valentine's.
I think that
I'm red.
Jeff was probably like, "Oh, Zach has his arm around me, and
I mean,
he's
it was not
my
even around
waist,
him.
so it's
His
okay."
fingers were like at the front of his rib cage. I'm like, back off, dude. I love you, Zach, but back the fuck off. He's Stu.
He was snatching him. He was snatching him. He was trying to make him look skinnier. That's all.
I already see Jeff lighting up. I don't know what that means. Yeah, he would never post a picture like that. I would love it, but he would never. I love that it took Jeff and Stu 3 days to watch the movie Barbarian. Watch me start it tomorrow, and I'll probably stop it. I'll get distracted. I mean, literally.
No.
2 hours
are
is a
glued
long
to the screen.
time.
I don't know what
I can't
those.
stand that 90 Day Fiance.
Girl.
Some of those episodes are 2 hours, and I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah, that's because you have to deal with commercials and bullshit. I'm telling you, you will be in. Well, it's action packed. Things are changing so quickly that you're just going to be like. That's why I don't understand what those two are doing. They're probably playing handsy with each other, wanting to have. Boom, boom.
Well, they're stopping. They're going to the back. I mean, Jeff must pee 700 times a day. It sounds like that's all the man does.
I'm just like him. Yes, it's torture when you have to go. You're like literally. To the toilet. It sucks.
I do love that Stu. Did Stu really remember to get him water, or he forgot? But he did go back down to get him a water. I'm still surprised he doesn't have a mini fridge upstairs and just keeps about 5 or 10 waters upstairs, like in a closet, in a primary closet. Can't say master anymore.
Well, he said that Zoila, when he fell down the stairs, told Aurora she needs to keep waters upstairs in the laundry room for him. So maybe
but if you did a mini fridge, you could totally do that.
Yeah, he could. I don't know why
they have even smaller fridges than the dorm ones that my kids have. They've got little bitty ones that are like Dr. Pepper. Yeah, I wouldn't want it to be seen anywhere either. I'd probably have it put inside a cabinet and like closed in the doors or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm surprised he doesn't have that either now that you think about it.
Especially if it wants a cold water. I don't want a cold water. I like tap water, like not cold at all. I love that Jim Thompson is back, and of course he rammed on him for being gone for 90 days paid paternity leave.
And what he doesn't understand
I love that,
is like
Danielle.
Women, when women have a baby, well, at least when I did, it's changed by now 22 years ago. I got time before the pregnancy, and then I got time after the pregnancy.
Okay, I did, and I have a 21-year-old. I was working up until the day that they told me I was leaking amniotic fluid, and I was like, "No, I'm fine. Can't you just tell me over the phone if that's what this is?" So they were like, "No, you need to come in right now," because I thought I was just leaking. I didn't know what this was, and I thought, "Oh, that just meant I would have her sometime soon." I'd been leaking amniotic fluid since the night before when I was out at a movie with friends. I was seeing the movie Serendipity with a bunch of girlfriends.
But your water didn't break.
Sometimes your water doesn't break. It's like a little tear in the balloon, in the little, whatever that thing is, the sac. And like if you stand up or lay down, it plugs.
Well, did you notice you were leaving wet spots
I put in a panty liner when I went to work that Monday morning. But I remember I also went to work with no makeup on. And I was dying. I called my husband. I said, go home, get my makeup bag, bring that shit up here. I'm not, because all my friends, it was a party when I gave birth. I mean, we had everybody in the room. Anyways.
Oh, boy.
Enough about that. But I love that he was off. Nope. I love that he had the 90 days paid paternity leave. I hope he snuggled up with that baby. And now he can be back to harassing Jeff.
Bond with that baby. Yes.
Bond
with that baby. Because your sleeping schedule is all fucked up.
I know
and
Jeff was like, Bond. I mean, I've got names for that. I don't know. But we do know when Jeff and Gage did have Monroe, they were putting her skin to skin. I mean, they were absolutely bonding. It was very cute, very cute.
Oh, I saw some pictures of that the other day. I would love to post. I won't because they're private, and I know that situation with Monroe, but that was one of the most heart-touching scenes, was to see first Gage had her skin to skin, and then Jeff was just like, oh, and just the look. Oh, makes me
so Danielle's asking, do you guys think Jeff will have another child? So for a while, Kelly, do you want to say that you thought he should have another child? And I was always against it.
I thought it. Yes, and I think before he got with Stu and he was still kind of with Scott was when he was still thinking about having another child. And then once he got, once he got with Stu, I still wanted him to. And then you talked about like how stressful it is, and especially in a new relationship. And he doesn't need another one. No,
plenty. She's a gem, but I think she's plenty.
That too.
I just think for a lot of reasons, I think one is plenty. I think Monroe is the queen, and but I really don't feel like he will have any more. I feel like it shows failure to him, even though it's not. But he's only got one embryo left. Yeah. So I feel like if he tries it, that would be so stressful. I don't know. I think
it's like a finality of it. Right now it's like he doesn't really know if it would work or not. And I'm sure it's expensive. It's very time consuming. And then to have a surrogate, have it implanted and it not work for.
Well, and he immediately fired that surrogate. He was like, well, your uterus didn't work. So we're off to another one.
But that makes sense though. That makes sense. I think that she deserved a phone call, but I mean, I understand, like, if you only have one embryo left and you have all this like pressure on it, then you would want to change as much as you could.
Danielle's asking, is it with Gage? No, they each have the same egg donor.
Baby mama.
She's not a mama, in my opinion. Those have the same egg donor, and they each implanted different embryos with their own sperm. So Jeff would have his own, and it would definitely be another 100% biological kid with of Monroe's. If Gage had a child, it would be a half brother or sister to Monroe, because it would be Gage's whatever. Yeah. Anyways.
Right.
Love the solar panels phone call, Nancy. And that's what Kian made a thing about today. It was hilarious. We'll wrap it up with music. But again, cooking kibitz tomorrow. Chef Stu will be on with Doug making a fancy sausage that goes in all of your orifice of your body, apparently. Dressing. And what else? Potatoes, crispy potatoes with lovely seasoning.
Crispy potatoes.
Carbolicious.
I'm all for the carbs.
Perfect for Thanksgiving.
Oh. Yes, delicious.
Yeah, let's try music.
We're ready for music? It was kind of funny. It was two songs that I'm not really familiar with. So it was Ooh La La by Goldfrapp. I've never heard that song before. And Hot In It with Charlie XCX, who I've heard before, and Tiesto. But they were pleasant. They were fun.
Yeah, very much so. Very much so. So with Monroe is both. I'm confused. Monroe is Jeff's biological daughter.
Yes.
I am curious because we do know that Scott was trying to have, because Jeff shared that on the radio, Scott was trying to have a baby at the exact same time. And clearly that didn't go through because he would have, because by now
we haven't heard anything.
Would have been, well, I mean, I guess, I don't follow Scott Anderson, but anyways.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for joining us, Chumpettes. We will be back tomorrow, 6:00 California time, and we'll be watching Doug Buden right after that hold on. No. Yes.
We're 5, he's 6. No, we're 6.
Yes. We will be on after Cooking Kibitz. I'm so confused.
And also tomorrow's Carrie
Yes.
Lewis Megan. That'll be fun. Friday is Patty
I
Stanger. Do
know.
you think somebody's going
He's
to be
not
there with him with
saying it.
Patty or
Almost
just?
sounds like it's just her.
Yeah, because Doug, she insulted Doug before, so I don't think he wants to be on with her. Yeah, she yelled at him one time. They had like a live show. Yeah. But she now has apologized, but I still think
I
Doug
want to
probably
say
thinks
she
she's.
gave some hints or something that she and her boyfriend were on a little short break. So I kind of hope she gives some details about that. Inquiring minds want to know.